What's up, Seekers of Wuday? It's your boy Kaz at Midnight Lights Gaming, bringing you my next installment of my squats goal guide. I'm going to do all of the goals from all of the levels, but I'm on squats right now. This is a score to settle. I really enjoyed this one a lot. It definitely had its place in terms of being challenging and fun. I love taking on big groups, and that's what this is. In a score to settle, you have to take on this sort of money counting room that you encounter relatively late in the level, and you have to do it by keeping your multiplier at 3 for most of the fight. And each level has one of these. It's a certain place where you need to keep your multiplier above 3. And before I get into the tips to really help you with like big groups and rooms like this, I'll let you know that most of the fight is kind of interesting. I've done this where I felt like I was at 3 above. I was at 3 most of the time and got the goal, and I've done this where I felt like I was barely at 3 and got the goal. So that could just be me and my perception, but stick with it. Even if you get hit and go down to 1, stick with it to see if you get the goal. On to our tips. Let's do this, starting with strike first, strike hard, my little nod to Cobra Kai. Early on for these challenges where you need to like keep your multiplier at 3 or not take any damage, it's really good to be aggressive in the squats. Like the 2 challenges that have to do with that, you can be on the front foot, you can be really aggressive. These guys just aren't the toughest in the game, so you can really take advantage of that. And one of the ways I do that is I actually keep a lookout for when an attack is about to start, and then I strike first and strike hard. And you can see that in this slowdown clip. When you do hit them before they hit you, use crotch punch. It's my go-to. Even if you have a weapon, crotch punch is the go-to forward square on PlayStation 5. Next is anticipate strikes. 2, 3, 4 guys are around you. Typically, the guy who's about to swing at you while you're mid-combo is going to telegraph that. So I see this guy coming from a mile away. I know I need to stop my combo and get out of the way. Here he comes. I'm going to avoid. Actually, that's dodge, like move fully out of the way. Next tip number 3 is take every chance you can to use a takedown. It gets a guy out of the fight, and it gives you a chance to take a breather and survey the room. So I get queued up here to take him down. I can see there are 2 other guys. Just gives you a chance to breathe, and people don't swing at you or hurt you when you do that. Next is disarm and use weapons with vigor. I use palm strike and sweep to disarm. Typically this time I just went after a guy, but as soon as I can get my hands on a pipe in this room, I absolutely do. Next is guys that turn. And help me out in the comments with this one if I'm wrong, but the 2 guys that most frequently turn, I think for me, are headband guy and bald guy. So look out for those 2 guys and don't use a takedown. Just finish them off with punches and kicks and going after them. Because you take them down, they turn into a more difficult guy, sort of like berserker mode or fire mode, and then that just creates more difficulty for you for keeping your multiplier at 3. We're getting there. Next is tip number 6, reset. So this is about how when you get cornered, you feel like your back is almost up against a wall, 3 or 4 guys are around you, you're anticipating you might get hit soon, you just get out of the way. Try and use R2 on PlayStation 5 and start zooming out of the way. Or if you are like, wow, I've been going for a while, I feel like I'm pushing my luck, you can see like move space, go over tables, like figure out a way to change your perspective. I think that this is sort of a nuanced tip, but I find that in these really tough rooms where I can't take any damage, I have to keep my multiplier very high, that if I do resets, I can kind of like take a breath and like re-engage. And I just have a lot more success when I reset. The next and final tip is the Mighty Cowbit. So this is a focus move you can unlock in the museum. Go ahead and Google it or look it up on YouTube. It's very easy to find and do once you actually know what to look for. But you can instantly use a focus move to get your multiplier up at 3. I don't use it in this particular video, but you'll see in some of my other videos, like in the club and in the tower and so forth, that this one is like quite essential to keep your multiplier at 3 for the majority of a like combat scenario. One other quick point before we get into the uncut video of me doing a score to settle is I actually accidentally completed this when I didn't even know goals existed and I didn't have my HUD on, so I didn't know I completed this. So what you're going to see is actually a full playthrough where I just don't take any damage, which of course, and I go into the room with my multiplier at 3, so of course that means that I would have gotten it from this playthrough. Alright, let the badassery commence. I got that staff from a couple sections ago. It's kind of in the courtyard, in one of the rooms before the courtyard. So I start off getting a stealth takedown. This guy always picks up that pipe, so I'm always kind of looking out for him, wanting to disarm him, which I don't do a great job of. And then that person sneaks up to me, and at this point I'm like, okay, I'm in a corner. Luckily that guy went away, but I need to reset. So I went across the table to give myself a little bit of space and room to think differently about what to do. And then I disarm this guy and get the pipe. Yeah, so again, disarm with palm strike or sweep. That's my go-to. In that case, I just sort of went after him and he dropped it. So here, that's where I anticipate the strike. Don't forget to use focus. That's huge too. Focus and takedown there. That move is just holding triangle, and it's very effective when someone's sneaking up on you from behind. Last takedown, and there you go. That is a score to settle. It's a very satisfying goal. Once you get it, it feels quite good. And again, I'm still not clear on what, keeping your multiplier at 3 most of the time means in terms of percentage, but I didn't take a hit, so I would have gotten it there. Thanks for watching. It's The Cause with Midnight Lights. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram, and yes, definitely subscribe. Definitely hit that like button. And remember that if I ever make a dime from any of my videos, that 50% of whatever I make, even however much or however little it ever would be, will go to charities that my subscribers choose with me. All right, take care. Peace out.